Lifeline is a show hosted by Chris and Matt D'Elia.
I'm like, why do I know this? And my brain wouldn't allow me to think of Chris D'Elia. Yeah.
Chris D'Elia and his brother do a show together. They do an advice show together. Yep. Andy, I think, first brought this to our attention.
He did.
Yeah.
And the show starts off with utter nonsense.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Oh, wow.
Anthony, dude, the pressure's on.
You've done it before, right?
Yeah, but the pressure's on.
No, the pressure's on. You've done it before, but the pressure's on.
The pressure's really, really on Anthony right now. Anthony's flying solo. Our producer is missing in action. He's been missing for several days. We don't know where he is. Keep him in our prayers.
None of that's true.
None of that's true, but...
It's Easter. That's true.
Easter?
Oh, how about this? Happy Easter. And there's going to be a Lifeline live show in Irvine, May 14th. You can get tickets at watchlifeline.com or my website, chrisley.com.
They're doing live shows with this horse shit? I've never heard anyone even talk about this show.
But not only that, what are they just going to ask the crowd? Like, hey, need any advice?
Yeah.
What's the live show going to be?
Probably.
Oh, yeah, no, they
horrendous.
even say that. Yeah, it's just interacting with the crowd that's there. And then like, hey, my girlfriend says I come too quick. And they're like, oh, you should probably stop doing that. I want to point out, so these guys come from the saying things that are completely untrue is hilarious school of comedy. I've never understood that, where they just get right on and they're like, yeah, our producer's been missing for 4 days. We don't know where he is. That's not true. Yeah, I know. And everything they say, nothing's ever funny. It's just quirky and dumb.
Yeah, it just seems like
Chris. That's crazy.
like brothers bickering.
Yeah, right. And I want to point out the thing that Mersh pointed out when we were playing some clips of Golden Hour in Largo. Why does Chris D'Elia always look hungover? This is a man who doesn't drink or do drugs. And he always looks like he's had a hell of a night.
Oh, yeah. He's the junkiest looking of them.
Yes.
For sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
keeping text messages with a 16-year-old under wraps is a very stressful lifestyle.
I imagine it is. I imagine his lifestyle is very stressful.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. So they're going to start promoting their Patreon. And I don't know how many people they have on their Patreon, but I imagine, this show is so popular, you're going to want more episodes of it.
Sometimes things come up on this show that we're like, it's not really fit for this show. So we move it over there, and that's where the conversation really goes off just between us. And that's what's up. So sign up over on patreon.com/lifelineluxury if you haven't already.
So going over also to check Matt's podcast, Private Record. Go subscribe over there, Private Record.
So, okay, two things just happened. I didn't realize were going on. First off, the Patreon episodes, it's where the conversation goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, obviously these conversations are amazing. We're going to show you some examples of that. But if you want to see them actually go off, you can hop on their Patreon and get that. What does that
smart
mean?
business model. Be purposely boring on the free episode. So people are like, there's got to be something here. I got to sign up and
I've never heard a conversation that went off before. I don't even know what that means. I'm not even sure what the fuck they're talking about. It's a bad advertisement for me. But
I'm surprised how involved Matt D'Elia is in this, considering like he's doing the ad reads and the promotion and all that.
Yeah.
I thought Chris would have been taking the reins here. He's the pro,
Well, no, apparently Matt's the pro. I didn't realize he has his own podcast. I guess it launched back in January called Private Record.
It's very exciting.
That is very exciting because if there's Chris D'Elia only hosts like 4 or 5 different shows. I need more D'Elia in my life. So I'm like, oh, good. His brother's also doing a show.
Certainly, yeah.
Thank God for that. All right. So there's another thing too, and I didn't know that this was a thing. So I'm just learning a lot. I pop on this show and immediately they're teaching me all sorts of things I didn't know about.
If you want a one-on-one private session with me, go to mattdelia.com. Bing, bong, bing, bong, booyah, booyah, and booyah.
You know what, Mike? First off, we'll get into the one-on-one conversations with Matt D'Elia in just a moment. But sure. I just want to make a note. I'll probably pull this out of the regular show, but just for you and me on WATS before I forget. Mm-hmm. We're not saying enough nonsense words. We're using English all the time. We should be a bing bong booyah.
Well, it was nice to know it's a family trait because that's Chris's entire brand of comedy is inflections, goofy words, saying things at a weird cadence.
Yep.
Like that's all that. So Matt D'Elia has learned from his brother and said, "Oh, if I just make noise, people will laugh at us
He
for
will
some
love
reason."
me.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy because he's sitting there going, one-on-one conversations, bing, 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 boom, bing, 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 boom, beep, and no one seems amused by it. There's a producer that we're going to hear from. You got his brother sitting next to him. No one's going, hey, that's pretty good stuff right there. They're just all ignoring it. Why are you doing that, sir?
Just wait till the live show when people are yelling out, "Do the bing bong thing!"
Wuzzle, wuzzle.
Come on, guys, we'll get to the bing bong thing at the end.
That's only for the VIPs, all right? You gotta,
Yeah, Patreon only.
you gotta pay extra for that. All right, so this seems to be a theme today because Alessia was under the weather. I'm under the weather still for some reason.
Oh no!
And Chris has been under the weather. And the
Weather's a 9-year-old.
He's been under the weather. We still can't find where her panties went. But then what I love about Matt's comedy instincts, and Mike, I'm sure you've done podcasts before with amateurs, and they don't know what to do, so they just start singing randomly. I call this Ray DeVitoing your show.
Okay.
And it was nothing but a fever and a headache.
Nothing but a fever and a headache.
I love that American song.
It's a really good American song.
But
Good stuff.
This is what's so I've never thought to, like, when I go and listen to episodes of Congratulations for my podcast.
Sure.
I never think to check in on Lifeline because I'm like, oh, at least Chris is talking to another human being. There's another pair of ears there that can communicate with him. So it can't be as insufferable as when he's alone. But what you're showing me today is I'm wrong because they both do the same shit at each other rather
Yes.
than having a conversation.
Yes, it's stereo Chris D'Elia. If you were wondering what Congratulations would be like if you were watching 2 episodes at once, that's what this is. And it's funny you say that because I was going to pull the latest Congratulations. I know you like reviewing that show.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about it in a little while. So I'm like, oh, let me see what Chris is up to. And then I remembered he does a show with his brother. And I went, oh, I don't think that Mike's even covered this yet.
It's like, do you ever see those YouTube clips when people have like Joe Rogan talking to Joe Rogan?
Yes.
It's like that,
It is
but
like
they're
that.
real. They're both people.
But it's actually happening. This is not
Yeah.
fake. No one produced this. Okay. So you got to love the chemistry these two have because they're brothers. They probably grew up together. They seem like they're similar ages. I don't know. I didn't look it up. But I imagine they have pretty good chemistry, having conversations for decades now.
They say, well, I hope you're ready to say goodbye to sleep, one.
Right.
And then they say something,
I
some version.
I should point out the context of this. So what they're talking about here is when you become a new parent and you talk to people who are already parents, these are the things that they tell you. Okay.
They say, well, I hope you're ready to say goodbye to sleep, one.
Right.
And then they say something, some version of, I hope you're okay with getting sick all the time.
Right.
Bye to the first one. See ya to the second one.
Well, honestly, I don't even listen to them. I never heard that because I don't listen to them.
You've never heard a parent say that.
Because I don't listen. I'm kidding, bro. You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh.
But wait, so I did get a lot of sleep last night, and I'm zonked, bro.
Yeah.
So Chris had to explain to his brother Matt, no, I that's my shtick. I make shit up. That's not true.
That's how you use
just
the
don't
word
care
shtick.
about
That is,
anything.
yeah, that is his shtick too, by the way. Which
Well,
is
that's a
probably a good strategy, playing dumb. I should have started that early on. Like, no, I always say dumb shit. That's what I do. It's my shtick. Damn it.
It's a good point that they're brothers and should pick up on each other because without that context, I'd be
Yeah.
like, well, Chris, he wasn't clear that he was joking. Why is he being like an asshole to him? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, Chris is not that funny, and yet often is like, don't you get that I'm joking? My just aloof kind of asshole-ish attitude is me being hilarious. Don't you understand that?
Yeah, that was the first time he actually explained that. I feel like he's like, Jesus, even Brendan Schaub picks up on this shit.
Right.
Moron. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Matt makes Chris look funny.
Yeah. Eric Griffin would have totally gotten this joke.
Yeah,
I
right?
can't work with you anymore.
That's true that what the Golden Hour has proved is that Chris should always be around Brendan Shaw because in that room, he gets to go, no, you idiot.
Right.
I'm the hilarious one.
Well, I want to point out, because we kind of glossed over it, obviously, what Matt just said. Matt goes, parents will tell you you're not going to sleep anymore and you're going to get sick all the time. And what I say is bye to the first one and see ya to the second one. What?
Yeah, that's
Very
embarrassing.
different thoughts to each.
Jump off a bridge would be funnier to say.
Yes.
Than see ya.
And he should.
Okay. So now they're talking about this movie called Zone of Interest. And it's a movie about living near Auschwitz during the concentration camps. I don't know. I've apparently there was this Holocaust thing. I'm a little hazy on the details.
Yeah.
Personally.
You're not the one on trial.
Thank you. Thank God. My family in Argentina says that nothing happened. So I believe them. And so they're talking about this movie, and I guess Steven Spielberg apparently came out and said it's the best Holocaust movie since Schindler's List.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, which I would think would be a nice compliment, right?
Pretty sweet for Holocaust movies.
I mean, that's what you want to be talked about. In. That's the company you want to keep right there. So now we have Chris D'Elia has a new word that he wants to use. You know, when Chris D'Elia introduces a funny word, he doesn't say it once. He doesn't say it twice.
I was worried about that.
He's going to hammer this one home for us.
But that movie really stuck with me. It was
Oh,
crazy.
that's what he said.
What?
He said he thinks it's the best Holocaust film since Schindler's List.
I saw cock.
That's pretty funny, actually.
So
yeah.
cock.
That's really
That's
funny.
like Kanye West shit.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Wait, he said that?
Kanye Spielberg.
Oh, so cock.
You guys get it? He's Spielberg's being kind of cock right there.
Oh, I see. I'm surprised we're done, honestly. I thought they was going to throw that in 4 or 5 more times.
Yeah, well, this is because he does have a co-host. It actually keeps the conversation moving a little bit. Because if this was
Right.
his show, he'd be going, that's cock, dude. Dude, cock? Bro.
And then it would come back and be a hilarious callback in 6 minutes when it's
Yeah.
like, remember, you thought I was done with the cock stuff?
Still saying
No.
cock.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Mike, I didn't see you laughing over there. So cocky is the word. Cock
Sure.
means something completely different.
I got it.
Oh, you did get it.
Yeah. I was able to put it all together. It's highbrow comedy, so I'm not always laughing, but inside I'm going, that's hilarious.
Right. Well, you'll probably get it on the way home.
Yeah.
You guys,
Now it's funny again.
you guys aren't laughing now, but I always love that. All right, so then this is not a show about films. And they realize this while they're having this conversation about this movie, but it actually doesn't slow them down at all.
But the sound design of that movie and the
The sound design is interesting because unlike any other movie ever, regular people will be like, the sound design was really interesting. Like, what?
yeah, because it was so obvious. But it's weird. I mean, this isn't a film podcast.
Yeah,
but,
it's not.
But
So.
it was just so crazy because I didn't really go into it knowing anything about the sound design, knowing anything about it. And I'm watching, I'm like, why are they doing it? I can't fucking hear the people. And like, I was getting kind of pissed, but then I was like, what's that? What are those noises in the background? And then that was it. So it's like, oh, fuck. It like
Got you.
seeped in. Yeah.
He got you. Yeah.
So he goes, maybe we shouldn't be talking about the sound design of this film no one's seen for too long, but fuck it. Let's just do that because who cares?
That's an interesting mind to have the consciousness of this is going to bore everyone. No one cares about this. Let me finish my thought because
Yes.
they need to hear it. It's so important.
Well, and if this was a film podcast, he made 0 points.
Sure.
He goes, it was interesting.
I was keeping track. Zero is the number.
He made exactly 0 points. It wasn't like he was insightful. One thing that Chris D'Elia never is insightful.
Right.
Never once has he brought up
Never
something I'm like,
once.
I never thought of it that way.
Well, it also speaks to like, so their dad, Bill D'Elia, I don't know a ton about him, but I know he's like a decently big exec in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which is how a lot of people say Chris got a lot of his opportunities.
Sure.
But you hear there when Matt says like, oh, even regular people would think about the sound design in this movie. It's kind of like them saying, it's like when comedians say civilians or whatever,
Right.
when they're just talking about regular people. It's like they're saying, we're above you commoners that watch a movie. We kind of think of it differently.
Well, do you know what Matt D'Elia does for a living?
I do not.
I didn't either. I Googled it because I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He is a director, apparently.
Oh, of what?
I don't know. I didn't get that far in my research to
Google's like,
understand.
what do you think? We have all the answers? Come on.
One thing at a time about Matt D'Elia.
So he's like a flagman in construction.
I reached my quota on questions about Matt D'Elia. But yeah, so he's in the industry. He thinks he knows shit about this, as you picked up on very
interesting.
astutely, Mike Geary.
Yes.
So then as they're talking about this movie and how much they enjoyed it, they come up with a new movie rating system. And I think you're going to find this is just delightful.
Okay.
I didn't go full
I would say I went full.
My problem with the movie is that I didn't go full but I was like, oh, you know, but I wasn't like,
So you give it an oh,
yeah,
not an
yeah.
I give it an
Right.
I give that and speak no evil.
Right. Gonna hurt our throats so bad doing this.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Again,
It
Mike,
hurts my
I don't know
heart
if the
because-
audio is cutting out or something. I just don't see you laughing over there as I'm playing these amazing clips.
It pains me because that, like, I would use something like that to describe Chris D'Elia's podcast, and people wouldn't believe me that it's that dumb.
Right.
It's like, no. I'm not exaggerating. He would have a conversation like this.
Yeah, and at no point are they self-aware enough to realize that this is obnoxious and not interesting or funny. They love it. They think they're killing it.
Well, here's the problem, though, is that it has worked for Chris D'Elia. Even if you like, I think maybe his podcast numbers are down since he's come back. But like, I always cite when he came here to Boston, he played the Wang Theater, which is a 3,000 seat venue.
Wait, hold on. You don't even know what you just said. Hold on, Mike.
He played the Girthy Cock Theater.
Play the cock.
But like, people are still coming to see him, I guess. So the baby talk that he does, it works with the ladies and it works with crowds. So why would he stop? You know,
It's true. I don't understand the appeal at all, but that's because I enjoy comedy.
yeah, right.
So it's
That
not
makes
for me.
sense because he was defending Matt Rife going
Yes.
back a couple of weeks.
He was.
Yeah.
He's like, some people are really good at crowd work, like Matt Rife.
Yeah. And good with the ladies, like Matt Rife.
Yeah. All right.
Matt Rife likes those old hags in their 20s, but
Hey, someone's got to love those women too, right? All right. So then they start talking about how long. They have a guy call in who says, you know, when I text people a long story, I do it in multiple text messages, not just one long text message, which is fascinating shit. I can't get enough of that conversation. And so they go on and on about text messages. How long is too long for a text message? And what we learn in this clip is what it's like to be friends with Chris D'Elia.
So easy.
How long is too long of a text for you, Chris?
Anything more than like two short paragraphs.
You sent a pretty long text last night.
Yeah. But it was necessary.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was a joke, though, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was necessary. Hold on.
Necessary,
I'll read
you
it.
know.
I'll read it.
The dumbest text anybody's ever sent. But go ahead.
It is always a simple matter to drag people along, whether it is a democracy or a fascist dictatorship or a parliament or a communist dictatorship. Voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. This is easy. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked and denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same in every country. And then I wrote, anyway, good night.
Anyway is my favorite part.
So they're encouraging this. He said that at 1:30 a.m. to these people. And you're supposed to be
is
like,
my favorite. I like having a favorite part of that.
yeah, no, my favorite part of your text last night, let me tell you about it. I love the idea, I'm in bed by 1:30 at night, and I love the idea of getting woken up to a text message where Chris D'Elia is trying to tickle my funny bone.
doing
This
bits.
long-winded nonsense.
Well,
Thanks,
this
Chris.
reminds me. So on Congratulations, every once in a while he'll have his wife on, and
Yes.
he basically behaves the same as if no one was there, and it makes you realize like life with this man must be so exhausting.
Yes.
And again, that proves it, where it's like he's constantly trying to prove to you how hilarious something happened in this young man's childhood.
Well, I think
Made
nothing
him
happened.
Need to show us how funny he is. Yeah.
And I don't want to point out the obvious here, but if I was accused of controlling a bunch of women in a sex cult, I wouldn't be sending out texts about how governments behave to control the people. You know, like he's obsessed with control over people, it seems like.
Yes, he loves it.
He's like, you know, you can manipulate people into thinking that they're unworthy and they'll do whatever the fuck you say. Yeah, I did know that, Chris. I saw the documentary.
I think he spent so much time controlling those broads. He's like, oh, I got to send out something normal to my friends.
Right.
That's what he thinks.
That's
of.
my cover.
Yeah, that's what fun is.
Yeah.
That's his version of I'm hammered.
Oh, you know what? Tell me if I'm making this up. I don't think I am. The guy who made that Chris D'Elia documentary that we've all seen and enjoyed is coming to Hackamania.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he's
Kyle
performing.
Anderson, I think his name is.
Is that it? Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's performing at Hackamania.com.
Oh, nice.
Promo code WATP. I don't have my banner up here for this. I don't get that up there. Just reminding myself.
Get 20% off a 16-year-old girl.
No, tickets. 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 20% off tickets. All right.
I'd like to talk more about the first deal, please.
What's 20% off going to get you anyway?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. This is where the cart falls off the track here. Because they're playing this video. So the whole premise of the show is people take little videos of themselves on their phone, send them in, asking for advice. Here's the scenario. What should I do? Kind of thing. So they play this video. This guy writes in or does this video, puts it in there, and he goes, guys, this is my second submission. The first time I submitted this thing, you guys told me to do this stuff. I didn't do that, but it's okay because we figured it out. My wife and I figured it out anyway. And so they have no idea what this guy is referencing because they're at episode 103. Who knows when the original video came in? I mean, this listener knows it very well. It was the one time he was on their show.
Yeah.
These guys have no fucking clue. There's no context at all. They have no idea what he's talking about.
Nice.
Weird
Maybe
moment.
Life rips. But what do you do?
What was the thing you said?
Thank you guys so much. Love your show.
I didn't hear the last part.
What do you mean you didn't hear the last
Blah,
one?
blah, 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 blah. It was quick. What did he say? He hit the fire hydrant and what?
Oh, well, once he started putting the tire back on his car, he started listening to the podcast again. Then he heard himself on the show.
Oh. But I don't know what was it about.
Wasn't it the one
Dude,
where
we have to stop this. Remember when I said stop it? And you're like, no, keep going. Nobody knows what's happening for like 3 minutes.
Okay.
We have to stop it. Be like, here's the recap. Then do it. Otherwise, the show makes no sense for 3 minutes.
Well, when we edit it, it'll make sense. How about that?
They didn't edit it. It didn't make sense.
I was going to say, they're both making great points here.
Yeah.
But neither gets accomplished.
Neither thing gets accomplished.
Chris, context is the word you're looking for there.
Context is what they're looking for here.
The boopity boops, you know?
So now they're explaining, because you remember in the very beginning, they said that their one producer wasn't there. They didn't know where he was, been missing. Well, he isn't there. One of the guys who works on the show isn't there. So that's what caused this whole cluster.
That lucky guy.
Yeah.
Don't remember this.
I don't remember either.
All right.
What the Dr. Pepper? What the fuck?
What are we going to do?
Also, we know what the most annoying part is. You know what the most annoying part is?
No.
Yesterday, Mako said, dude, the submissions are stacked today.
Yeah, he did say
This is the second one. We don't even remember what the fuck it is.
No,
you remember when he said that, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah, I remember.
what the fuck's the Dr. Pepper thing?
I got to change my beanie for that.
What's the Dr.
Shit's
Pepper
fucking
thing?
mad
Hold
upsetting.
on. Let's see.
Well, I don't even know if that's the one, but there was something about.
Well, he said Dr. Pepper, so I don't know what that is.
He
said,
did?
He said about the Dr. Pepper, yeah.
Oh wait, play it again. I didn't even hear him say that. I thought I said Dr.
Oh,
Pepper.
fuck.
This is crazy.
Is off the rails.
All right,
This
play
is
it again.
the
Play
worst
it again.
podcast we've ever done.
And he might be right.
I don't know. Is that fake outrage and he thinks this is content?
I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Because it's embarrassing and you can tell that he's embarrassed that this is happening. And
Maybe. I think Chris might be onto something where it's a mix of. I think the reason it's in. I think you're both right. I
Well-
think Carl's right in that his reaction is genuine, but I think they're kind of looking at it and saying like, we got to leave that in because we were getting into it.
I actually know why they left it in. I'm gonna reveal that in just a moment.
Oh, good.
Because I wrote in my notes, why not just cut all of this out? So
Right.
this is shockingly bad. It actually gets worse.
I was listening to that podcast,
on a second.
and my
Was
truck
it?
and trailer hit a patch of.
Did he say Dr. Pepper?
No, I did. That's why you think this is crazy, dude. I said Dr. Pepper because I thought that was the submission he was referencing. He didn't say that.
I thought you just said that you. I don't know. Never mind.
Let's ask him.
What's happening?
What do you mean? I mean, a few things are happening. So which thing you're talking about?
You said Dr. Pepper?
I did, yeah.
I have a memory of him saying Dr.
Well,
Pepper.
that is
fucked
just you
me
made
up.
that up. You made that
All right,
part
so
that he
hold on.
set it up.
All right. I remember vaguely what it is.
Oh, cool.
It was bringing something up that he should have put a note with this fucking
Of
thing.
course he should have.
So they're completely lost. This guy goes, yeah, thanks for your advice, blah, 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 blah. No, it doesn't reference what it was, what the problem was. So these guys are just like, what the fuck? We don't know what he's talking about. This is a disaster. And now we find out why they didn't cut it out, because Chris reveals it right here.
People don't see Anthony. People don't see Mako all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, people think we're fucking dicks.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If we cut this out,
Yeah.
later on something bubbles up.
Yeah.
and we unleash on Mako.
Yeah, right.
They're going to think we're dicks, and they're not even going to know about this backstory.
Right.
Oh, well, it just so happens that he said that the submissions were stacked to the gills.
Right.
And the second one, we didn't even know what it was about.
Didn't even know.
And he didn't leave a note with it.
Didn't even know. Didn't even think to leave a note.
People at home go like this, wow.
Oh, he found it.
That Mako really is a dick.
Convoluted way to go.
They
about
left this in for a future fight so they can reference it and the audience will know whose side to be on.
I'm not the least bit surprised. What little I know about Dalia, that's all makes
I'm not
sense.
either.
Dalia's, sorry.
But all I can think of is if I was a producer of this show, all I'd be thinking the whole time is, oh, I could do that.
Or
should just
I
be
quit.
a host. Yeah. I'd want to be the host of the show. I'm like, you guys are just making nonsense words and not remembering what the fuck's going on. I could do that.
Yeah, you're changing your knit cap.
I got to change your bit for this.
Get the fuck
Also,
out of here,
based on-
Matt.
Based on this whole segment, whenever they get into a fight with the producer next, they're not going to remember this instance. So
Right.
what's the
Yeah.
point?
That's a good point as well. Because as I'm watching this whole thing, it's a debacle. I cut it up. It's a whole debacle. And then they're just like, well, we got to leave it in because later we're going to want to yell at our producers.
So wait, we
What if
never
we-
find
what if we
out
want to humiliate him?
what the Dr. Pepper talk was?
No.
Oh,
There was no Dr. Pepper talk. Chris D'Elia made that up. The guy never referenced Dr. Pepper. Chris D'Elia's like, so what is it about Dr. Pepper?
I don't
It'd
believe
be
in
great if
anything.
you two started fighting where Chris is like, I swear I heard him say Dr. Pepper.
Turns into us having a fucking...
Yeah. Well, this is why we leave this in, Mike.
You're dead to me. Producer Chris is dead to me. All right. And now it's just me and you. Like, all right, we
We'll be
made
back
up.
in 9 minutes.
Yeah, we made up.
Podcast, WA.